the internet is supposed to be forever. Every photo, every post, every piece of art. Digitally immortal. But that is a lie. The internet has a graveyard. And today, we're visiting the tomb of a generation. The Flash animation extinction. It wasn't a hack. It wasn't a virus. It was a planned technological demolition that wiped out the creative DNA of the early web. 1 billion animations, games, and cultural moments gone or trapped behind broken links. And the most shocking thing? No one stopped it. To understand the loss, you have to understand the power. Before 2005, there was no YouTube. If you wanted to share a funny video, a bizarre song, or an independent cartoon with the world, you had 2 options. Hope a giant media company picks it up, or learn Macromedia Flash. Flash was the miracle tool of the early 2000s. It was the great equalizer. It allowed a kid in his bedroom to create fully animated, interactive content, all viewable directly in a web browser thanks to the tiny, universal Flash Player plugin. Suddenly, the web wasn't just a digital newspaper, it was a canvas. This freedom attracted a community, and that community coalesced around a place known as Newgrounds.com. Newgrounds wasn't just a host for Flash files, it was a cultural crucible. It was the testing ground for every creative impulse, no matter how violent, how offensive, or how bizarre. Crucially, the site had no algorithm and no advertisers dictating content. The ultimate arbiter was the audience, through the now legendary Portal judgment system. The freedom to submit anything meant there was tough competition. If your cartoon or game wasn't good, it was quickly deleted. This meant only the funniest, most creative ideas got to stay on the site, forcing everyone to step up their game. This unique system gave rise to superstars like David Firth with Salad Fingers, and pioneers like Tom Fulp who hosted it all. This wasn't just content. This was the raw, uncensored voice of a generation of digital artists finding their feet. And they were practicing and learning in public, making history. Flash's golden age was brilliant, but technically flawed. It was a proprietary technology, which meant it was closed off and difficult to modernize. More critically, it became a massive security risk. Flash files were a perfect way for viruses to get in, and the constantly needed updates made the entire web clunky and vulnerable. The writing was on the wall, but the executioner was a figurehead of the new mobile world. Steve Jobs. In 2010, Jobs wrote an open letter titled Thoughts on Flash, outright banning it from the revolutionary iPhone. His core arguments were valid. Flash was a battery hog, a security hole, and incompatible with the touch-first future of the web. But while his decision arguably made the internet safer and faster, it sealed the fate of an entire creative medium. The world moved on. HTML5 provided a secure, open-source alternative, and of course, YouTube, initially Flash-based, exploded by offering a centralized, monetized platform for video, shifting the definition of a content creator. The old animations and games had 2 options: migrate or die. A few classic Flash pieces were converted to video files or HTML5, but the vast majority, those millions of half-baked, experimental, or obscure submissions on forums and small personal sites, simply broke. The unique context was also lost. A Flash game embedded on a 2004 Angelfire site wasn't just the file, it was the surrounding text, the comments, and the clunky layout. When the Flash player officially retired in December 2020, those files were orphaned. The security update that disabled the player was, ironically, the death certificate for the very thing it once enabled. The death of Flash wasn't just the death of a file format. It was the death of the internet's wild, free spirit. When we switched from Newgrounds' peer-reviewed, free-for-all environment to YouTube's algorithmic, advertiser-driven model, we made a trade. We traded creative freedom for accessibility. We traded peer review and quality control for an algorithm. And we traded our actual history for whatever is easy to watch right now. The content you see today is filtered through a prism of what's safe for advertisers. That freedom to explore bizarre, hyper-niche, unpolished ideas, the kind of environment that birthed Flash's greatest creators, is now incredibly difficult to find. The content that shapes our internet today has been told, in no uncertain terms, what is and what is not allowed. Fortunately, not every ghost is lost. Dedicated archivists, realizing the cultural scale of the catastrophe, launched projects like Flashpoint, a massive crowdsourced effort that has saved tens of thousands of animations and games, preserving them on local drives for posterity. Newgrounds, the original hub, continues to adapt and thrive by moving to modern standards. But Flashpoint is a life raft, not the original ship. It's a reminder that digital history is fragile. It's not immortal. It's just bits waiting to be forgotten or broken. The truth is, everything you love about the internet today is temporary, and the past proves it.